The Honda Ridgeline has always been the non-truck buyer's truck choice, thanks to its car-like handling and comfort, as well as a relatively familiar feel at the wheel. However, the Ridgeline has long fallen out of the public's grace, and it has slowly but surely become one of the worst value propositions in the midsize truck market. Today we'll explain this fall in popularity as we look at the 6 reasons why you should avoid the Honda Ridgeline. Number 6. Poor towing capacity. One of the key reasons why one would opt for a pickup truck over a regular SUV or ordinary car is because pickup trucks are supposed to be extremely versatile and extremely capable when it comes down to everything. Most of all, utility. And you can't mention truck utility without thinking of towing capacity. And this is exactly where the Honda Ridgeline falls short compared to the entirety of its competition. You see, most trucks in the midsize segment can tow upwards of 7,000 pounds, with the exception being the Toyota Tacoma, which can only tow up to 6,500 pounds. For example, the Chevy Colorado, GMC Canyon, and Jeep Gladiator can all tow as much as 7,700 pounds, with the Ford Ranger coming in second, with a maximum towing capacity of 7,500 pounds. Even the colloquially forgotten Nissan Frontier can, after its 2025 redesign, tow over 7,000 pounds. So what should you expect from the Honda Ridgeline? Well, not much really. A measly 5,000 pounds, to be exact. This is, by all means, abysmal from a midsize truck that's fitted with a 3.5-liter V6 engine. Now sure, we know that this is a unibody pickup truck, and that expecting it to tow as much as a body-on-frame truck would be unrealistic. However, the fact that the Hyundai Santa Cruz can tow 5,000 pounds too makes us think that Honda should have done more. Being matched by a far cheaper and far smaller unibody truck is definitely not a good look. Wouldn't you agree? Number 5. Interior is extremely outdated. Let's get this straight. The Honda Ridgeline is an old truck. It's been on the market since 2017, based on an already existing Honda Pilot, and it practically borrowed its outside and inside. As a result, hopping into the cabin of the Ridgeline would hardly be a pleasant experience, as at the moment, it is by far the most dated interior in the segment. First of all, just look at that dashboard layout. It literally screams the early 2010s. And if we're being frank, its design seems more dated than that of a 2013 Honda Accord. Compare the steering wheels of these two cars. They're literally the same design, only a teeny tiny bit modernized on the Ridgeline. If that wasn't enough, take a look at the climate controls. They too look like they're ripped straight out from an older Honda, and the only change done to it was switching the button color from that cheap late 2000s silver plastic to black piano plastic. Now don't get us wrong, we'd take physical AC controls over touchscreen bound ones any time of the day, but seriously, buttons? Why couldn't they just use dials like all the others do? That said, we're still grateful that they don't force us to use the infotainment, as even a button fest like that of a 2010 Ford Focus would have been better than using that thing. It lags, it's very convoluted, and completely unintuitive. And let's be honest, it's just plain ugly. The seats are also very underwhelming. They're just seats. No quilting, no bespoke stitching, nothing. Everything just feels like it has been mass-made, with very little care and thought for aesthetics. And although the build quality is pretty acceptable, everything else just isn't. Number 4. Exterior styling is iffy at best. Oh, and you know what else isn't acceptable? The exterior styling of the Honda Ridgeline. It's very evidently a design of the past, and there's no avoiding it. This slanted hood design language debuted on the 2007 Honda CR-V, and this specific front fascia has been mirrored from the 2016 Honda Pilot, with only a few minor tweaks. Now, if you're into cars, you would know that the Honda Pilot entered an all-new generation 2 years ago, and that it, alongside the rest of the lineup, has already abandoned this bulky front-end design in favor of a sleeker and sharper one. As a result, the Honda Ridgeline remains the only Honda that retains this almost 2-decade-old design language, which, apart from making it stand out from Honda's current lineup, also makes it look extremely dated. And even though Honda has given the Ridgeline a minor refresh in 2021 and 2024, there wasn't any real room for improvement, as it was already fundamentally obsolete. But today, it sticks out like a sore thumb, and frankly, we're sick and tired of Honda trying to pretend that an exterior like this is perfectly acceptable. It isn't, and we're tired of pretending that it is. Number 3. Off-road capabilities are mediocre at best. Once again, if you're looking for a pickup truck, we'd assume that you'd want one that will be capable off-road, as pickup trucks, especially mid-size ones, are designed as an all-in-one vehicle. Well, truth be told, the Honda Ridgeline is by far the worst in the class in this regard. Now, don't get us wrong. We're not mad at Honda for this. We understand why they couldn't offer a competitive off-roader. This is, after all, a unibody pickup truck, and it's based on a front-wheel drive-based crossover SUV. As a result of this, although you can do some light off-roading, you will be very disappointed by its performance once you hit some harder terrains. But after all, you will get a far more compelling drive on the road compared to its rivals, as all of its disadvantages off-road turn into advantages on the road. The Ridgeline is the best riding truck out of its pack, and by a long shot. In addition, we have to commend Honda for going for an all-wheel drive setup from the get-go. Almost all of its rivals offer power on all 4 wheels at a price, and it's quite refreshing that a manufacturer doesn't skimp on features. However, they should be generous, and the reason for that is the next entry on our list. Number 2. The pricing is extremely high. $40,000. $40,000 for a 7-year-old pickup truck that is very mediocre in every possible way. And yes, $40,000 is the entry price point for the Honda Ridgeline. If you're up for something more than cloth seats, a rubber steering wheel, and some basic exterior features, you'll have to drop more money into it. To put this into perspective, the Chevrolet Colorado starts at sub $30,000, which is more than $10,000 cheaper. And the Colorado is a far more modern and far newer pickup truck. Sure, it comes equipped with 4 wheels and a steering wheel for that kind of money. However, for $10,000, you'll easily kit it out the way you find it fit. In addition to that, its luxurious counterpart, the GMC Canyon, also costs around $4,000 to $5,000 less for the entry-level model compared to the Ridgeline, and it comes with a decent bit of kit from the get-go. Not to mention that you'll also be able to kit out a properly well-equipped Ford Ranger and Toyota Tacoma for this kind of money, and we all know how good both of those are. Plus, all of these trucks will be a far easier sell once you get tired of them, and will hold their value better than the Ridgeline, too. Honestly, if the Ridgeline were based on the newly redesigned Pilot, we wouldn't have a problem with its price tag, as even now, the entry-level model is pretty well equipped, despite its rough around the edges finish. But that exactly brings us to the next and most important point of our video. Number 1. A new model will hit the market next year. As we've already mentioned, the Honda Ridgeline is old, really old, and the crossover it is based on has been retired and replaced 2 years ago. As a result, it was just a matter of time before Honda redesigned the Ridgeline too, and most of us were expecting it to happen for the 2025 model year. Unfortunately, it didn't, which means that it will be replaced next year, and the new model will utilize all of the goodies that the Honda Pilot has. This includes a new dashboard design that utilizes a new infotainment screen, which will sit atop the dashboard. The AC unit will be replaced with one that has dials instead of buttons. You'll have the option to get a fully digital driver's display, and the seats and overall quality will increase. In addition to that, the exterior styling will be bolder, sleeker, and more elegant, making it much more contemporary looking than the current one. And to top it all off, it will also be outfitted with the same 3.5-liter V6 engine that will only go through a minor update. However, from a practical standpoint, this will mean nothing to you. As a result of this, we just couldn't recommend the Ridgeline to you now, as in a year, you'll be able to get a much better truck with the same character and for the same amount of money.